35mm focal length had always been my favorite choice for prime lens. Many years ago, I reviewed the Samyang 35mm t1.5 for Sony E-mount, and in that video I stated that 35mm is truly the most versatile focal length because it's wide enough to give you the background context in the shot. At the same time, it is able to achieve a great subject separation with a wide aperture. It's perfectly balanced between these two worlds. Recently, I've fallen more in love with the 28mm focal length. I've been enjoying a wider perspective a little bit more, but still, in my opinion, 35mm prime lens is still almost a must-have for any photographer, more so than a 50mm lens. In this video, I'll review the Panasonic Lumix 35mm f1.8 lens and reiterate my interpretation of 35mm focal length for photography. This lens is part of the standardized f1.8 prime lens series by Lumix, sharing the same build and dimension with the sibling lenses such as the 18mm f1.8, 24mm f1.8, 50mm f1.8, 85mm f1.8, all sharing the bright f1.8 aperture. This 35mm f1.8 lens weighs only 295 grams, features dust splash freeze-resistant design. The lens barrel is made of high-quality plastic, feels nice and premium despite the light weight. The zoom ring is rubberized and turns very smoothly. On the left side of the lens, there is AF/MF switch, which I don't use as often because I prefer using the mode switch on Lumix camera bodies, but it definitely could be helpful when used on other L-mount cameras. Lens hood is also very well constructed with a very secure locking button, a very well thought out design, simple and elegant. The lens has a gray S badge which signals the standard S-line lens collection by Lumix, as opposed to their red S badge Pro lens line which is certified by Leica. But it's hard to not believe that these standard gray S lenses also share the Leica quality, because they are just that good. In fact, these f1.8 lenses are known for their superb image quality. My 35mm f1.8 along with the 85mm f1.8 are probably the sharpest two lenses I've ever used. At wide open aperture, this lens produces crispy, contrasty, and punchy images. Stopping it down to get the entire frame sharp from corner to corner, it is just impeccably good for any real-world application. You can especially appreciate the goodness of the lens when paired with a high-resolution camera body like the Lumix S1R, S1R Mark II, or Leica SL2, SL3, or Sigma FPL. No matter it's 40 megapixels or 60 megapixels, this lens will absolutely impress you whenever you zoom in to look at the very fine detail of the images. Thanks to its bright f1.8 aperture, even at some distance, you can still clearly distinguish your subject from its surroundings. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the 35mm focal length gives you a unique cinematic look that blends the wide-angle perspective and subject emphasis brilliantly. This is one of the two main reasons that the 35mm is the most versatile focal length in my opinion. Definitely more so than a 50mm focal length. I strongly encourage beginners to pick up the 35mm over a 50mm as their first prime lens. The extra subject separation is great on 50mm lens, but you just cannot get a wide-angle look no matter how much you back up physically. 35mm is more akin to human vision in the sense that you can always perceive a wide context, but also your eyes can focus on any particular subject at any given moment within the frame. That is the essence of a 35mm lens. Now let's talk about the second reason why the 35mm is the most versatile focal length in my opinion. Let's imagine a scenario where you have to bring only one prime lens on a trip. In my experience, the 35mm is the perfect number for such an occasion. 35mm itself is classified as wide angle. If you have to get wider than that, taking a step back usually will do the trick. The magic happens when you have a high-resolution camera like Lumix S1R or Leica SL2, which feature 47 megapixel sensor. You can simply use in-camera teleconverter or image crop function or APS-C mode that allow you to toggle between 35mm and cropped in 50mm or even 70mm with a simple quick press of a button. Applying a 1.5 times crop on a 47 megapixel sensor, you still get 20 megapixel image at 50mm focal length field of view. If you want to push it further to 70mm, you still have 10 megapixel left, which is more than enough for web publishing. Though personally I rarely go as far as 2 times crop. I'm really happy with the ability to switch between 35mm and 50mm at will whenever I want on a trip, all in one lens. Both yield great image detail thanks to modern high-resolution sensors and also the great optics. Of course, if you have like a SL3, you can just crop in more aggressively and more freely. When you crop into 70mm focal length, you still get 15 megapixel, not too shabby for 99% of use cases. So yeah, for me, having the 35mm on my Lumix S1R is like having a standard 35mm to 70mm zoom lens, plus a very bright aperture of f1.8. In conclusion, the Lumix 35mm f1.8 possesses a high-quality physical build and elite-level optical performance, and 35mm is a very special focal length for me, and in my opinion, the most versatile, flexible prime lens. The bokeh is great, and 35mm is a very fun focal length for portrait, street, or simply documenting daily life. This lens brand new comes at about 600 euros, definitely not cheap, but considering its value and performance, it is highly recommended as mid-budget lens option. The Lumix 35mm lens looks pretty neat on my S1R. As a prime lens, it is a little bit too big for S9, but still looks really handsome. I'd love to see more compact 35mm lens design in the future, maybe at f2.8. A flatter profile that fits Lumix S9 would definitely sell and truly reflect S9's compact design philosophy, making a compact premium full-frame experience at a fraction of the cost of Leica or Sony. Let's hope that happens. Maybe Samyang would transplant their E-mount 35mm f2.8 lens to L-mount, since they are part of the L-mount alliance as well now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content. Any purchase via Amazon affiliate link in the description is going to be very helpful for the channel. Thank you and see you next time.